You might be looking at this video and thinking, holy moly, there's a snow everywhere. And yes, indeed, it's a snow. It's amazing. But also, you might be that second type of person looking at this video and thinking, holy moly, what an amazing background blur is this? What kind of lens is he using? And if you're that person, you're in the right place, because this video is all about this old school Zeiss lens mounted and adapted to my Sony camera, and it does create an amazing background blurs. So let's roll. Woo. Yo, what's up team? My name is Magic. I'm a wedding photographer, Sony Europe ambassador, father of 4, and I do welcome to my channel where I'm talking about photography, gear, weddings, and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a bit cold in my office. As you can see in the intro, we have like full winter mode out the window here. So it's been amazing. We haven't had a winter for a while here. And today we're talking about blur, background blur, and specifically we're gonna be talking about this background blur monster, which is old Carl Zeiss lens. So yeah, let me tell you all about it. I've been searching for a lens that creates like amazing background blur and some crazy flares, because I do like aggressive kind of bokeh style, and I do like flares in general. So since all of my G Master lenses and main lenses that I use on my cameras, they produce like the most perfect image I can imagine. They're super sharp, they're super reliable with autofocus and so on, and that works for me for 90% stuff of what I do, like all the wedding getting ready stuff, ceremony stuff, dance floor stuff. Like everywhere that I have to rely on my gear, I do take my best lenses. But then there's like this few percent of portraits time, or like some maybe engagement session that I have more time and I can just go crazy with some old school lenses. And this is when like the whole mirrorless technology comes really in handy, because the way like the cameras are created, and Sony was the first one, it allows to mount like a full range of lenses from different manufacturers, old lenses, new lenses, old school lenses, like new lenses from other companies, to just adapt to Sony. And that's a like huge thing for me. And second of all, like having electronic viewfinder and actually see focus speaking when you're focusing, because these guys are usually manual focus lenses, it also helps a lot. So yeah, when I was just like searching for new lenses to add to my bag, never-ending story looking for new lenses, right? And I came across this amazing lens called Carl Zeiss Biotar Jena 50mm 1.4. And I was actually able to get that lens. So normally this lens comes with like a different mounting types, like M42, some 16mm lens mount. But the one piece that I got is actually adapted to Sony. So look at this. It already has this back that you can mount it directly to Sony camera, which is great. So yeah, so just look at this lens. It's pretty amazing. It's silver, so that's like a +100 to respect on the street. It says Germany, which adds another +100 to respect, I guess. All the German stuff is pretty dope. And then what do you get? You get this fancy focusing ring. It's really easy to move it, and it's going to be useful because this lens is manual focus only. And then you get this aperture ring, and I'll be honest with you, you don't get a lens like this to stop it down, so probably you're gonna use it at 1.4 all the time. The guy that actually sold this lens to me suggested to just block it. There's a way just to put something here to block this lens at 1.4 and just shoot open wide, because yeah, that's the reason you get this lens, to get that open wide background blur kind of thing, right? All right, so So now the fun part. What happens when you actually mount this lens to your camera? It creates this unreal background blur that goes like super swirly. I actually have a name that's my personal name for that category of a background blur. I call it like Claude Monet impressionist style, because it does look like it was painted with actual paint and brushes, which is freaking amazing. So I've been using this lens mostly for my personal stuff. So, you know, portraits of my kids, portraits of my wife, portraits of my friends, and just, you know, occasionally taking this lens out for a spin. Although I did shot a few wedding portraits with it, but this is where some difficulties came in, that I kind of stopped taking this lens for my weddings. So obviously photos with a lens like this will actually catch attention on social media. When someone is scrolling Instagram, they'll just stop seeing the image with like this amazing background blur. I'm telling you, this is tried and tested. So it's amazing lens to catch attention. But then, you know, shooting this on a wedding day, it's quite difficult. Of course, it's manual focus lens. So as I said before, I'd rather go for like reliable 55 1.8 that I know I'm gonna get stuff in focus, and I know that I'm gonna provide the image that I want, not going crazy, especially when I'm tight on time. But then there's another thing with it. This background blur is so different and so aggressive that is not consistent at all with other of the images. So when I'm providing full gallery to my clients and they just scroll the images and then there's just like boom, 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 these weird images, they just stand out, but in a way that, you know, it looks weird. So that's one of the reasons that I just kind of stopped using it for weddings. And another thing is that it's not really sharp, you know, it's very soft, even in the middle. So yeah, so on one hand, kind of amazing lens that has like all this characteristic and features that you want from lens, creates like eye-catching photos, but then doesn't work for all the situations. But I think this lens will work amazingly for photographers that are solely doing like a portraits. And I like think that I could probably do a portrait shoots just with this lens, you know, like a series of portrait shoots that I would sell the thing like, hey, I'm doing like a half-hour portrait in the woods that creates this amazing, you know, effect, and people would go for it. I've shot like a few sessions, and I remember one in particular. It was the belly session with one of my clients, and I've been also testing like 135 1.8 from Sigma at that point, and I took a few photos with the Sigma, like hoping like the blur and everything will be amazing. And then I shot the rest of the photos with this lens, and I found myself just shooting whole shoot with this Biotar lens. And it looks great and it works amazing, especially when we're talking about full session shot with this one lens. It gets consistent in terms of look, it gets consistent in terms of like being like little softer and more like a fairy tale style, and also being consistent with the colors, because lenses like this, like old school lenses, they will render the colors a bit differently from all the modern lenses, so you might find some difficulties later on editing photos like this. But I do think, like, if you're after like looking for some amazing, you know, aggressive Claude Monet style bokeh, you might want to, you know, search for a lens like this. Maybe not necessarily Biotar. These guys are getting more and more expensive as they're pretty old. But there's tons of like Helios lenses, or like, you know, old school M42 lenses that you can adapt to your cameras, that to your mirrorless cameras today, like to all the Sonys, and you can have fun. So yeah, that's Biotar. 50mm at 1.4. Let me know what you guys think about this lens and this big background blur from that lens. And if it's anything interesting for you, is it like lens that you would go after, or is like too weird and too funky for you? Yeah, thanks so much for watching the video. Have a nice one, stay safe and sound, and see you in the next one. Ciao, bye-bye. Let's work.